1.5 million people kind of boggles my brain. That's the size of the entire Indianapolis, all of Marion County.
People leaving Iraq, it kind of seemed like some of them had some nice stuff.
Yeah, the first family was fortunate. First of all, and what struck me, this has been a real education for me, but most Iraqis had a fairly good lifestyle. So you'd be like, folks like us, I don't know the median income was, probably lower than it was in the United States, but similar. So a lot of these folks are going from a fairly nice lifestyle to now they're looking for a place to live, and the sad part is that there's a lot of friction between the local community and the refugees, and so they don't feel welcome where they're at, so they feel really at a loss. But almost everybody treated me really well in Damascus. If they found out I was American, they wanted to buy me a cup of tea and talk to me, and they wanted to, some asked, why does America hate us? I had a hard time, I didn't know how to answer that question necessarily. Obviously governments have issues, but they always did distinguish. They would tell me how bad they thought our foreign policy was, but then they'd always want to tell me how great they thought America was. And that was pretty much true everywhere. Nationals, people that are involved, some experts in the Middle East and U.S. policy, and made recommendations. And if you look at that Iraq study group, and I believe that you can just Google that, they gave a lot of recommendations on how we should be engaging and what we should be doing. One gentleman testified before Congress. His name was Christopher Skogum. I think he's a professor at Georgetown University. And he said the last thing the world needs is another group of people in the Middle East that are refugees, that don't have a home country, that don't have any prospect for the future. Just like the second interview. I mean, the guy's making a buck a day and feels like an outcast in his own society, and he's got kids to feed. So what he's claiming, the Iraq Study Group's claiming, is we need to pay more attention to this population. We need to make sure that their basic needs are met, that their kids get medicine and food. Otherwise, it's a volatile situation, and there'll be a lot more, I think, people that could easily be recruited that would create a lot more of the violence that we witness almost on a daily basis. So $700 million a day goes into the Iraq war. And I think that's stretched over time, but it's an average of $700 million a day. We spent less than 1 day that we spent in Iraq, we spent towards assisting Iraqi refugees. So it's just, I guess, out of balance. It just seems hugely out of balance. And it seems like it would benefit us militarily and otherwise. We would have less people, if we changed the policy. So that's just getting along just fine. I never felt threatened as an American. So a lot of things surprised me there. And just before Christmas, I was amazed at the hotel I stayed at, even though I think it was run by Muslims. They had a lot of Christmas decorations. So those were just things I wasn't expecting to see that I saw. But I'll always emphasize, it is a police state, that there isn't. The guy who was giving me a tour around was concerned, here I am calling this refugee, and I'm going into this neighborhood that I typically don't. He thought maybe the secret police might be tracking his movement and question, why are you doing this? Why are you meeting with these Iraqi refugees?
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life for peace. And you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I am not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. need for greed.